Kakadosh Boker Tov, we're continuing with the halachot of Halakat Nerot, Siman Resavech Gimel and Maran. We're now doing Sif Yod Aleph. And Maran actually brings down that even if Shelo Yitpallu HaKa'al Adayin, if even if a person is not, let's say the Tzibur, they still didn't accept upon themselves Shabbat. In Kadam Yachiv Yitpalel Shel Shabbat Geod Yom Chalav Kabbalat Shabbat V'asu B'asiyah Melacha V'afilu Im Omer Sheno Rotzeh Lekabel Shabbat. What happens if a person comes and they said Arvit of Shabbat, or they did Kiddush, and now he comes and he says, but I'm making a condition, even though I'm saying Arvit, or I'm doing Kiddush, I still want to do Melacha, and it's early. It's obviously after Peleg HaMincha, because after Peleg HaMincha, if it's before, there's no such thing as accepting upon yourself Shabbat beforehand. But for example, it's 7 o'clock, right, 7:15, 7:30, right, candle lighting anyway is until around almost 8 o'clock, but it's 7:30 and he comes and he does Kiddush. Now he still wants to do a Melacha. It doesn't help. Why? Once he was Mekadesh et Shabbat Bayom, doesn't matter whether it's through a kos, or it doesn't matter whether it's through the cup of Kiddush, or through Tefillah, and he mentioned that it's Kiddushat Shabbat, that's it. He's prohibited in Melacha. The only exception to this rule is going to be to do with praying Mincha, which means that he's still allowed to come and pray Mincha. I apologize. Obviously, we're talking about this is the next case. Right? So therefore, which means that the second that he already did the Kiddush, he's already in Shabbat. Now, what happens right now if you have the majority of the Keilah, they accept upon themselves Shabbat? So this happens many times, for example, in certain places where there's only one minyan. So you go to a certain city or a certain yishuv, there's only one minyan, and they pray early. Why are they praying early? Not because of halacha, logistics, right? Everyone has young kids, so they want to pray early. So now the halacha states in Shulchan Aruch, which is the next seif, is that we go after the majority of the Kahal. What does that mean, the majority of the Kahal? So this would happen, by the way, this actually happened in Gibraltar. There were 4 Batei Knesiot, and all 4 of them, especially during the summer, and in the same way that happens in France and other places, they'll pray early. Nobody's going to come and start praying right at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. So therefore, they all pray early. They pray by Plag HaMincha, and even with that, it's still around 8 something, right? That's the time of accepting upon themselves Shabbat. So what happens is, you have the Keilah, they come and they're accepting upon themselves Shabbat early. Now, I'm coming, I'm working, and I'm not with them. So says the halacha, I am accepting upon myself Shabbat automatically with them. I'm not allowed to do Melacha, but Mincha, I am allowed to pray later. Which means, Melacha, I cannot do. Because the second that the Rova Kahal, the majority of the Kahal, they accept upon themselves Shabbat, that's it. I also have to accept upon myself Shabbat. But to do with the prayer of Mincha, I'm allowed to pray afterwards. Now this that we just mentioned, that you accept upon yourself Shabbat automatically, first of all, that's only by Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat, where some people say, Boi Kala, which is a few seconds beforehand. But for sure, by the Lechud Anina, this doesn't happen. So for example, right, this would actually happen in a case over here in our Bet HaKnesset. In our Bet HaKnesset, we have 2 minyanim. So if you have 2 minyanim, obviously what happens is that the people that come to the second minyan, they're not obligated to accept upon themselves Shabbat by the first, even though the first has the majority of the Kahal. Why? Because there's a second minyan. They go to a second minyan. Let's say, for example, we only had 1 minyan, and we only do early. So as long as there's other Batei Knesiot in the vicinity, even if it is that usually they come here, and this Shabbat, this is Erev Shabbat, they're late, and now they're going to go to another one, they're allowed to do so, because they're not forced to take our minhag because there's other Batei Knesiot in the vicinity. But let's say all the Batei Knesiot would do early, so then they would have a problem again. Why? Because then you go after the Rov of the Kahal. Remember that we did mention that a house, minyan, is not considered a minyan. It's only the Batei Knesiot in the area. And therefore, if the Batei Knesiot in the area would come and they would all pray, let's say by Plag HaMincha, so then automatically everybody would accept upon themselves Shabbat early, whether they like it or not. Even if they come and they say, no, but I'm having B'chavana, I don't want to do it, it doesn't matter. They're automatically accepting upon themselves Shabbat. And then, but the only difference is they could still say Mincha, but they're not allowed to do any type of a Melacha afterwards.